Hi there, this is Dr. Jennifer Gardella, and I am honored to submit this proposal for the Florida Partnership to End Domestic Violence to help increase your digital presence, your footprint, with all the great work that you do. So a little bit about our proven process, and this is what's going to guide most of this presentation. I'm going to talk a lot about my research process, how we plan, how we optimize your profiles, and all the work that we do for you, and then the weekly, daily implementation that we're doing to increase your footprint. So that will include blogs, it will include social media posts, newsletters, and of course, reporting on results. So the first thing that we do, which makes us a little bit unusual, is that we actually take a research-based approach to the work, and that takes up a lot of month one. So we look at your ideal clients. In this case, it would be your stakeholders. Who are you writing to? Who are you trying to attract? And I have another slide. I'll go through the various groups. We then look at your keyword research. How are your ideal clients, your stakeholders, how are they searching for you? Or where are they hanging out on the internet? What questions are they asking? What do they want to see from you? What do you need to have on the internet so that you show up? We then also look at competitors research. So what other nonprofits in the area could be considered competitors? You might not have any. What are those companion organizations and what are they doing really well and what's getting a response? I then do a full website audit so that we can see what content needs to be added to the website for ranking, both in for search results, but also for AI search results, which is so important. And leading to that or involved in that is also a full SEO analysis. So what do you want to be ranking for and what kind of content do you need baked into the site to make that happen? Now, like I said, we would need to develop a plan for each of your stakeholder groups. And this is one of the hardest parts with nonprofits because there are so many stakeholders. We have your internal stakeholders from your staff to your volunteers to your board of directors. So we would want to make sure that if they need to see content from you, we want to make sure it's baked into the plan. You also have the current members, those that can sign up for your trainings, that already pay you an annual membership. We want to keep them engaged. You also have part of the work that you do is to provide great information on domestic violence to victims and survivors and point them to research. So what do they need to hear? Funding and financial stakeholders. So whether you're going for grants or whether money is coming from the state, we want to make sure that you're putting out the right content. Community and referral partners so that people in Florida know who you are, how to refer into you, but also how can you be sharing their content. Advocacy and public stakeholders. So you may have a local crisis center, some sort of victim response center. You may have a statewide organization dealing with sexual assault. We ensure and take a look at all of that. What do they want to see from you and where are they likely to share your content? And then strategic stakeholders, who's going to help you move the needle going forward. If they are a group, again, they can be also in your board of directors and your leadership team. A lot of these do overlap. But we make sure that we understand what content pillars each group wants to see from you. And then we write an editorial calendar so that you have some idea how we're going to be reaching those groups. And then we develop content templates. So when we have a newsletter, when we have a social media post, much of that is templated. Oh, and I also want to say that one thing that I'm really careful about to always put in editorial calendars is I take a full review of the year to see what is coming up that could relate to your organization. So a very simplistic example, of course, for you would be October and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. What are we going to want to put out during that time? What do we need to have ready at that time? So I just want to go back and say that. We also take a very clear look at your profiles that are set up and where we can enhance them. And this is where we go into LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. We may want to set up other accounts like X and Pinterest, as well as a Google Business Profile account. Make sure that all of the areas of each of those accounts are filled out and write great content based on keywords and your stakeholders so that we are talking to everybody using the About section and your services section. Okay, and then the implementation. This is the monthly work. So the blogging, social media, and newsletters, that's pretty basic. Everyone knows what they are. But this engagement piece is one of the things that we are really known for. This is when we talk about going in and liking and sharing and commenting on content out there of your community partners, as well as those whose radar screen you're trying to get on. It could be your own content, so we can comment on your own content, stakeholder content as well, and content of others. So it may be the National Domestic Violence Hotline, it may be a local center that you support in Florida or a local shelter. It may be one of those partners. I develop a list and we have a system so that we can go in. The hope here is that as we go in and share and like and comment on their content, they will start to do the same for yours. And then user generated content. So I took a quick look. There's not that much out there because you guys are so new. But if someone is commenting, especially on, is sharing information about what you guys do, they may tag you in an Instagram post or mention you in a comment, or you get picked up even in a news story. I go in on a weekly or monthly basis and make sure that we're searching on all of that content. We share it then in posts going forward, tag the appropriate accounts. We like and comment on it when it's appropriate. And most importantly, I keep a library of it so that when we want to refer back to it, we can. We can also create content like a page of it that goes on your website. There's many things that we can do. And then we also start to talk about results. Now, a lot of this is based on a bigger development strategy for the business, but we want to look at SEO and are you ranking? Are you, for whatever it is that you want to be known for, do you at least come up in search results? We also do want to look at social engagement. So are people interacting? Now, if people are not interacting, it could be a function of the content that we're putting out. It could also be a function that we haven't asked anybody to interact. So at that stage in the first couple of months, we do a lot of outreach to partners, hoping again to create those social media partnerships so everyone can share each other's content. And then we revisit the research when we look at things like newsletters, open rates, and clicks. Is the newsletter subject line, that main subject line, is that getting, can we tweak those? Do we have a really strong CTA, a call to action in the newsletter? And as we revisit the plan, or do we need to revisit the plan based on results? Okay, let's talk about the monthly deliverables. So given the budget, we talked about the following: 2 blogs per month to go on your website. That includes the writing and the posting. Same with the social media, newsletters. We would write them and we would send them through whatever systems you have. Obviously, you guys could do that work yourself. We would just write the content, you would approve, and then you could send it yourself. We would also do social media posts. So that includes 4 posts based on an Instagram-like image, and then we would write and share those on Facebook, LinkedIn, and even Google Business Profile. And then 4 additional posts per month based on the blog. So it's about 2 posts per week that you're getting. Again, all geared towards those stakeholders, anyone you want to reach, and your core business areas. So it would all focus around domestic violence and however you want to support everything that's going on in the organization. And then that engagement piece, that would also be included, as well as the user generated content, and that's going to come to $2,000 a month. So I want to say that we have some big differentiators with the Gardella group. The first is, while we are using AI, and I'm very honest about this, we are using AI to generate ideas because it's phenomenal to generate ideas. All of the content that we actually create is human generated. So you're never going to get a blog that we wrote in 2 minutes or 2 seconds using AI. We also plan on a quarterly basis, so all of the content. So the first year we would plan that year out, and then each quarter after that is a quarterly basis, so you know what's coming up. There's no surprises. I have a team, but I remain your contact, so don't worry, you're not going to get staffed out to a project manager or a lower level staff member. I do have a operations director who has worked with me for over 10 years, and we do have a team of writers, but when you have questions, you only work with me. We also, you approve all your content. There's absolutely no auto posting unless you tell me to. But I always recommend that the organization or whatever client I'm working with always goes back and reads through everything that we're going to post for them. And I also want to say, and I say this again in a couple slides, we easily adjust the plan. So if there's something that happens in the world of domestic violence or in your organization, we can easily adjust our plan. I also wanted you to know a little bit about me. I walk this walk, so I do have I've been a social media expert for over 13 years. I have a PhD in educational psychology and statistics, so I know how people think, and then I also know how to measure success. And as I have shared, I have extensive knowledge with domestic violence. So I am a survivor. I escaped in the beginning of 2020, right when the pandemic hit. Went through a long healing journey with my local domestic violence center. So I'm very, very attuned to things like crisis counseling, support, trauma therapy that can be provided right up through EMDR and support groups, as well as educational programs. Still have all of my notes. And then I'm also now a sought after speaker for groups and companies. I've done quite a few speaking engagements where I'm looked at to not just bring a survivor story, but how do we relate this to the real world? So when you talk about your educational components, that would be something that would be a great fit for my personal life. I would have to say that I bring into work. I'm also a trained advocate. So the Pennsylvania Coalition Against Domestic Violence has an advocacy training program that I took advantage of. It was 75 hours to work with victims and survivors. So I just don't understand, I understand well beyond just the basics of domestic violence advocacy, but really can understand the issues that are sensitive to the work that you do, as well as the importance of things like disclosure and confidentiality. And I currently am very active. I work on a hotline once a week for 5 hours, and I'm part of my local domestic violence survivor council. And I'm also an active member with the University of Pittsburgh. They have a team that is doing a ton of research on domestic violence, specifically with sleep, which is really interesting, but also several other studies that are going on up there with maternal health. So I'm very active once or twice a month with the work that they are doing. Okay, some notes. So I know that you were frustrated with the last company. I just want to be completely honest with what you can expect. So to really see a massive presence grow on social media and even SEO, we're going to need a lot of help. So I, in this contract, would include staff trainings and board trainings. Staff trainings, if people have questions every month, that would be great that we could all hop on a call, how they could help the effort, and maybe a board training or a board report every quarter, however often you guys meet. But really helping those groups see the massive difference that they can make in the effort. Also, as I said before, when the rules change, we adjust and we don't charge you for it. So if there's a social media platform change, we work it into the plan. Same with the SEO algorithms, same with AI when that came about. How we always want to serve our clients best. And we remain flexible so that if there's big changes at your organization, we can adjust our plans. That may include a big news story, that may include a little tweaking of the direction, or completely rehabbing the direction, which I have had to go through with clients. The other thing I want you to know is that no one, I certainly cannot, and no one else can guarantee your results. They can't say your presence will increase as a result of this work. But I can say and guarantee that the plan that I put out will be the absolute best plan that you could get to reach your stakeholders. And to that end, I'd just like to introduce one of my clients to you. This was BCHIP. They are a county-wide program here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Many of the things, and I'm including a PDF that you can also read, many of the things that they have done are included in your proposal. And the results kind of speak for themselves. We saw a massive increase in website traffic and amount of time that people were spending on the page, and really great increase in social media. Now, they did go, like you guys, from not doing a whole heck of a lot in a strategic way to doing a lot with me, which was awesome. I will also say that we haven't done much in 2025 because of budget cuts that happened in January, but they are still a client. We're still posting for them on a regular basis, but I thought it would be really helpful for you guys to see what they were doing compared to what your contract has in it, and the some of the results that we saw. Okay, that's it. So I want to thank you for listening to this video and reading my proposal and for your time. I also want to thank you, of course, for doing the work that you're doing. You're doing the work of my people, and I really appreciate it. And I look forward to supporting you and coming on as part of the team when you guys are ready. Thanks.